Hey everybody, Bonnie here with Bonnie Bay Crochet, and I want to talk to you about my recent dye lot disaster. Some of you may have seen on my social media postings this beautiful panel of cable crochet being ripped out stitch by stitch and rewound into another ball of yarn. Well, let me explain what happened, because many people were like, what's going on? You know, the stitches look fine. The stitches were fine. I instead had a dye lot problem. Now, this is something that most of you veteran crocheters and knitters know all about. And everybody knows if there is a dye lot, which most yarn will have a dye lot, you need to make sure that all of the dye lots are the same. So what is a dye lot? Well, let's take a look right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at this yarn that I was using for this project that will be released in the near future. I was using paint box yarn, Simply Aran. This is clearly a red color. And if you look at the label near the UPC code, you have color number 214, and then lot number, that's the dye lot, 651694. Now somehow, unbeknownst to me, another stray ball of yarn, the same color that I'd used from another project, kind of slipped into my yarn basket. And look at the dye lot on this one, 645834. So this number is different than this number. Now, could I see this with the naked eye? I could not. I crocheted away with a stray lot number ball, and then I added these to it. So this was the very first thing I started with. Otherwise, I could have just ripped out less of the project, but because I started here at the very beginning, there was no redeeming this panel. So anyway, so let's take a look at some other yarn. I'm doing this particularly for those who may be new to purchasing yarn. Okay, so here is some beautiful Mandala Baby by Lion Brand. And I love this name. It's Narnia. And the color is 216R, and the lot number 0724. And you can also look at these numbers too. Just, I would check them all. And let's look at the other one. I just purchased these earlier today. And I did double check to make sure that the dye lot was the same. And 0724 it is. So just be mindful that even if the color numbers match, the dye lots could be very different in even right next to each other in the store. Okay. So let me look at another ball of yarn, and just again looking at a different brand so that you know where to look for this, because there's a lot of information that I know can be overwhelming when you first look at this. Okay, again, it's near the UPC code. Here is the codes for the color, and I believe the lot number is right about here. It's a little harder to see it on this particular brand. All right. Now, when you're working with multicolored yarn like this, it may not be as big a deal, but I wouldn't take any chance. I would make sure that the numbers here will match every skein that you purchase. I only purchased one, so I didn't have to worry about it in this case. But double check. Now, suppose you order yarn from a yarn company online and you get, I don't know, 8 or 10 it's sealed in plastic and hasn't been opened. Check the dye lot. Even if it looks like it's all part of the same package, double check, triple check, just to make sure that you're not going to be wasting many hours of crocheting like I have done on a number of occasions. Okay, while this doesn't happen to me very often, years ago, I did have another dye lot disaster that was absolutely devastating, because I didn't find out until I had completed the project, including sewing on the buttons. Now, again, I could not see these differences with the naked eye, or at least not at first. But as soon as I added the digital photography, boom, it was right there. And let me show you, and I'll explain it to you with the pictures in hand. Okay, now watch what happens as I try to change the color. You see, as you darken it, you can see the color changes ever so slightly, which is just a bit too much if you are trying to photograph your item. And most people can't necessarily pick up on this with the naked eye, but once I realized it was there, I could not unsee it. Another picture of the same project. This is the back, and I'll go ahead and hit the edit button so that we can see how this looks. You can see that there are several different dye lots going on in this project, and it's really annoying. I had no idea that the color differences were that dramatic at the time of purchasing this yarn. I knew the color dye lots were a little bit different, but in the light in the store, they all look the same to me. And I was very naive thinking that I was going to get a project out of this. Let's show you what happens when you try to adjust this out. So let's say you want to try to get rid of this digitally. Look what happens. I mean, you can darken it all you want, but there is just no way to change that. That's the light. And let's see if the color differences. No, even the color different. Even when you go to the grays, you see the color differences there. So my advice, always check the dye lots when you bring them home. Double check the dye lots just to make sure that what you purchased is what you want, so they will all be consistent. Another thing to be aware of, if you buy yarn at a store and perhaps the label has been removed and maybe just taped on to another similar color, I would not buy that one. Not because I'm afraid of the label having been taped on, but they could have taped it onto the wrong one and it could be a completely different dye lot. Well, I hope this was helpful to you, whether you're a seasoned crocheter or you're brand new to the fiber community. I really do hope to save a dye lot disaster happening in your life. If this was helpful, please let me know. If you have one of those stories to tell, please post below. We would love to hear. God bless. Bye-bye.